Well, hello there, my crypto brothers and sisters. It has been quite a while since I've done a video on this platform, on this channel, but we have had lots that has happened, lots of changes that have taken place, including to my subscription service. I wrote about that a few weeks ago, but for those of you who are unaware, I am no longer charging for signals. All right, so you can come to my platform, you can subscribe. Right now, I am giving free signals away to anyone who subscribes. You will see all those signals. And as you know, that includes both stocks and crypto. And in the crypto space, we are not doing quite as well, only because of the majority of cryptos I am invested in are altcoins. And so, as you know, altcoins follow the big dog, Bitcoin. And we're a little bit behind in that space, but I am not worried. My new indicator, crafted and coded by Claude AI in conjunction, a little bit of Grok help there. It has really been knocking it out of the park since I implemented this indicator in September of last year. On the stock side, we're up over 30% in our portfolio, and we still have another 3 months to go. Whereas if you were to buy and hold the SPY, you'd be up 11%. So we're almost tripling the hodlers in that portfolio. In crypto, not so much. Bitcoin hodlers look like geniuses, and we look like losers. But again, I am totally not worried about that. Altcoin season is just now starting. And in this video, I am going to take you through what is happening. And by the way, guys, as far as my platform goes, what my aim and my goal is to prove to you all how valuable this indicator is. And then at some point in the future, once I have gone through the full gamut of experience, understanding the timing, understanding all the various little nuances of utilizing this indicator, I am going to be offering the indicator to you, and I'm going to show you the portfolios and why I'll be able to prove to you why it's worth an indicator, buying this indicator. All right, so I just want to get through about a year or so of experience and data, and just practicing my entries and understanding, like I said, all the little nuances and variables that go into making it work properly. As you know, it had slowed the frequency of my signals down tremendously. However, even though my signals are put out at a slower pace, there is a much more higher degree of probability that we will win at those entries, and we will win big. And I'm going to take a walk through our portfolio in somewhere in this video in that regards as well. All right, so we're going to roll through starting from the top on this, and we're going to start with Bitcoin Dominance. Let me see, I got to figure out how to operate this thing again. Okay, this is the SPY chart. I'm just going to start. This whole video is going to be totally ad lib. I'm just going to start at the top of my list, and we're going to roll through, starting here with Bitcoin Dominance. All right, and I've put out plenty of static posts on this. But a few days ago, I had a level picked out far in advance of the post. And I said, here is our level of support. It was approximately 60.5% on Bitcoin Dominance. And you can see right here, I did expect a bounce, and I didn't know that we were going to get it for sure. So I put out the post indicating what to look for if we don't get the bounce. And if we do get the bounce, I also speculated what would happen in the altcoin space. And indeed, we bounced exactly at that support, just like I suspected. Now this red line here, that's an estimated moving average. I would expect we'll come up to that at least before all those long leverages are liquidated in the altcoin space. And that is perfect. That is exactly what we want, guys. We want all those leveraged longs to be liquidated to free up liquidity for the rest of us who are going long on this market. I'm going to show you why I am totally not worried at all about this minor pullback. And to be honest with you, I will not even be worried should we get a bigger pullback because that is healthy for this market, especially in the altcoin space. Okay, I'm going to jump to let's look at the dollar here. Let's see what that's doing. All right, so the dollar continues to be relatively weak, continues to drop. Now this green line here, if I zoom out to the weekly, which I am going to do right now, you can see we are in the middle of a big channel. I'm going to zoom out all the way to the monthly, and you can see this channel started all the way back in May of 2008. Really, that was the beginning of our secular bull run in the market. And at some point in the fairly near future, I expect this run to end. And when this run ends, it's going to be, in my opinion, we're going to go through not the normal type of recession that we have seen in the past. That is deflationary recession / depression. I think we're going to go through more of an inflationary recession, depression, and this dollar chart is indicating that I may be right on that. See, if we break the bottom of this channel and the dollar starts to fall from this channel, everything is going to get more expensive. So right now, the market is showing us in the housing market, it's more expensive than ever to buy a house, more unaffordable really than ever to buy a house. And that is largely due to inflation, amongst other things. Of course, we have a higher interest rate right now than we've been used to the last 10 years or so. But that is all weighing in the housing market. I've shown that chart before. That is our leading indicator. If housing continues to rise, the cost of housing, that is signaling we are going to have some sort of recession incoming. And I believe that is actually what's going to happen. So right now on the dollar, we are at the bottom of this channel. We have been in this channel again since May of 2008. Will we drop from it? Unknown at this point. We did get one bounce already a couple of weeks ago. This is back to the daily chart. And now we're going to test the underside of that support once again on the dollar. But once you start seeing the dollar drop from that, you will see a blow off top in the larger market, stocks and everything. And that's exactly what I've been predicting, right, guys? Not only from my large cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders pattern on the SPY, which I can look at next, but also it coincides with an Elliott wave pattern. Wave 5 would take us all the way to 670 to 700 on the SPY. Since I mentioned the SPY, let's jump there next. And you can see that the S&P is up against resistance. Again, I posted about this a few days ago as well. And we've got a red dot here from my indicator indicating it is time for us to sell off a bit. I would expect the market to pull back here at least to 600. And it could possibly go all the way down to this. Well, that is the estimated moving average. Let's get the simple moving average up here very quickly. I'm going to go to my 10 and 1 chart here, uncheck, and we're going to put up the 250-day simple moving average. So there you can see where we had the SMA golden cross. That's very bullish. So I could see us coming all the way down to at least 600. This market is hot right now. I don't know if it'll come down and touch that 200-day moving average, but it very well could. We are a little bit overheated, actually quite a bit overheated on the SPY. But again, if the dollar drops from this channel here, that's when you start to see volume coming in. That's when we start to see the blow off top. And you will need some volume to break through this red resistance channel here. All right, you need volume. I don't think the volume is quite ready to be had at this point, being that we're overheated, and that's why I'm calling for a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a accumulation before we can push through that. And once we push through that, again, let me zoom out to the weekly here. And you can see my target number 3. Actually, I'll just put this up on the daily. This is target number 3. Put it in auto mode so that I can get the text up there. All right, target number 3. I would imagine we'll hit the underside of this white line at some point, probably intersecting this target 3. May even exceed it by a little bit. And that's, personally, that's when I start to sell the stock market. All right. That's my goal. That's always been my goal. We've hit these targets that I've drawn out precisely. Excuse me. I did say I was going to show you at least the inverse cup and handle pattern that I had drawn here. So let's see if is that even on the chart here. Let me pause the video and I'll pull that up and we'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, guys, I didn't feel like cleaning up the chart, but you can see in pink here. All right, so here's our cup, and this started all the way in December of 2021, and you can see the little handle here. This gives us a projected target of 670 to 700. Again, I also don't have my Elliott wave up there, but a wave 5 actually starts somewhere, I think it starts here in October of 2023. So as you know, if you're Elliott wave chartist, and I don't claim to be an expert in that at all, but wave 5 tends to be even longer than wave 3. And again, that would, if my projections are correct, coincide with the target on the cup and handle pattern, taking us to 670 to 700 on the SPY for our final blow off top. Before what happens, I know not, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be pretty. So I just want everybody to be cautious about that. All right, and I don't think I need to look at US oil or the VIX. I'm going to jump right into crypto now. We'll talk about what's happening here on the Bitcoin side. And for my TradingView followers and viewers, just know that this video, the limit on time is 20 minutes. I can tell right now by my rambling, it's going to be a little bit longer. So if the video happens to cut out at 20 minutes, you can catch the rest of it on my platform, which I'm not supposed to advertise or say here, or YouTube, but it is in my TradingView signature, which I'm allowed to put it there, but I'm not supposed to mention it. Okay, those are just the house rules. I agreed to them, so I guess I broke them a little bit right now, but TradingView has been pretty generous in allowing me to say a few things on video at least. All right, so here's our Bitcoin chart. And right now we are up at 118. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up I'm going to pull up the liquidation heat map here. Just going to drag this up here because this is what I'm expecting with Bitcoin. Is we're going to flush out a little bit of leverage. I think we could go all the way down to 111 and clear out that leverage down there. See that big yellow line? I think that price is about 111,000 on Bitcoin. I think we could see that happen on Bitcoin. Altcoins may take a little bit of a bigger hit, but right now they're acting a little bit more independently. I think overall people know. I got an error message on my OBS. Error encoding overloaded. Consider turning down, and then it disappears. Hopefully this video turns out. Anyhow, I think altcoins won't suffer as much as they have in the past. Many people know that this is the beginning of the altcoin market, and I think it will last through the end of this year if my prediction is correct. So Bitcoin, again, coming down to 111,000 would take us right around here-ish. All right, this last sell side liquidity block, and that makes perfect sense actually. Also, this ascending blue trend line is very important support. That would make sense as well. That 111,000 price would make sense. Clear that liquidity. There's a lot of leverage here building up, and that would give us some liquidity. On the altcoin side, really, I'm looking differently at this now. I'm trusting my two big lead altcoin indicators, which is Ethereum and Solana. So let's take a look at Solana first and show you what we have. Again, we broke this inverse head and shoulders pattern. All right, that's key. That's bullish for Solana. As expected, we should come back down and retest that neckline. In the past, you guys know I've called this kissing mama goodbye. Once we break a significant trend line, the price loves to come back and touch it one more time or kiss it one more time before proceeding on. Our target here on this inverse head and shoulders pattern is somewhere around, well, let's do it live. This whole video is ad lib anyways, right? So the way I draw this is from the top of the head, all right, to the neckline, and then we'll place that where we broke, all right? So that takes us somewhere around 280, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go all the way to 300 actually. All right, so 280 to 300 on Solana is the target there. This support is holding us right now. I expect it to continue holding us. I don't expect a break below our current price in Solana, which is right now 188. Ethereum looks exactly the same. And again, these two things are leading the altcoin space. They're leading the altcoin market. All right, so that's what we want to watch for what the altcoins will do next. And my wife is home, so excuse me 1 second. Where was I? So this is our support right here. And we have touched it exactly. Again, 3,500. I don't expect Ethereum to break that, but if it does, it could actually come down to 3,300. But our neckline on this inverse head and shoulders pattern is way down here. So we have plenty of room to pull back on Ethereum at least, and Ethereum-based coins. I think Solana is looking even hotter than Ethereum. But either way, both of them are on important support, and that's indicating to me that we're just taking a little bit of a pause here. We're flushing out that leverage and we're creating some liquidity so we can continue further on up to our projected targets. All right, last thing I want to do in this video is just take a look at my, and I can do this now because I'm not offering these signals to only paid members. I'm offering them to everybody via my website. All right, so our crypto tracker, as I stated, is looking ugly. Look at all this red. That is so sad and makes me want to cry. But again, I have been learning how to use, the green is better. I have been learning how to use my indicator, and I've been learning that slower is better. Wait for the perfect entries, and once you get them, enter, and we'll do better. We'll make these 39, 55% profits. All right. I expect by the end of this year that we'll be ahead of the hodlers in this portfolio. All right. So this is July, end of July. We only have 5 months to do that. I'm totally confident that we can do that. All right. Especially look at this. I'm holding Sol here, and we're going to shoot for that 280 to 300 target before I sell Solana. Can't even talk here. Solana. All right. So that is a large part of my portfolio. Actually, it's too big of a position, but I entered before the drop. It took out my stops, and I was just like, I know Solana is going to do well in the future, so I'm just going to hold through. And that's partly the reason why my portfolio looks so sad here. But on the stock side, guys, on the stock side, let's take a look at this. Look at this, guys. So since September, we've done very well, getting over 30% profit. This was at 33%, whereas the hodlers on the SPY would only be at 11,000. All right. And look at the last few trades we've had. 70, and this isn't stocks, guys. This is not crypto. Crypto should be looking like this at the end of the year. Like, we'll have these kind of trades for sure. So stick with me and subscribe if you want to get some of these entries and these signals. I put them out for free. You guys can choose to follow me or not. Maybe you just want to sit by and observe and see how well I do. See if I, if the rubber hits the road and I really am just talking big, or if this really comes through. I think, and I'm quite confident that this $8,000, it looks like a big diff. But by the end of this year, I'm betting that we'll have surpassed Bitcoin hodlers. All right. We are getting good experience on this indicator that I have, and I'm being patient. And in the stock side, you can see it's paid off. Look at these profits: 70%, 35%, 45%. Almost 40%, 35%, 53%, 30, almost 40% right there. And we're well in the money on most of these trades as well. I expect them to do even better. And I've got a few on the horizon that I'm looking to enter soon. So I wanted to kind of give you a rundown on what's happening and why I'm doing all this. All right. This is just the time that I have allotted because I do work a full-time job, and I love just doing this stuff as a hobby. And I happened upon this indicator. I'm going to pull up my chart again so you can see what I'm talking about there. Happened upon this indicator, which uses I'm just going to be honest with you, it uses logs, algos, liquidity swings, and a wave indicator, which I've showed my paid subscribers how to use. But I had Claude AI put them into one indicator, which gives me these beautiful red dots and green dots. And when you see a green dot in a liquidity block like this, boom, that's when you buy. When you see a red dot in a red liquidity block like this, that's when you sell. And you can see here how precise and accurate this is. Look at down here. This, let me get out an arrow so you guys can see a little bit better. All right, now sometimes it gets it right, a few times it gets it wrong, and when we got it wrong, we lost some money, and that's reflected in the portfolio. But most of the time, man, especially on the high volume, high market cap cryptos and stocks has been just outstanding. Crypto is a little bit, maybe it's not as accurate, but look, you buy here, you would have sold here when you got the red dot. All right, you would have waited, entered here, bought here, and you're already up here. Now we did get a red dot, but there's no liquidity block that has printed yet, meaning that we're still, this might simply be a bull flag, and we're going to hit the $4,100 target on Ethereum. All right, so that is the way I utilize this, and it is just blown my mind how accurate it has been, especially on the larger cap cryptos. All right, so that's where I went wrong. When you see my portfolio down to 8,000, I went wrong by trusting this indicator on medium to lower cap and medium to lower volume cryptos. Doesn't work as well for that. All right, we need to see a lot of volume, a lot of market cap, a lot of money supporting these signals. But again, take a look at Bitcoin, and I've posted about this before. We'll just start right here. Buy right there. You got the green dot and that liquidity block. Boom, goes all the way up. I mean, that is a massive increase. All right, you get the red dot and red liquidity block, you sell. All right, and you keep selling, or you keep in cash all the way till you get a green dot and a liquidity block again. And here we are, and boom, up. So if you can continue to utilize this indicator, massive money, massive profit can be made. All right, so stay tuned, follow me, subscribe, and I will have more for you in the future. Peace, y'all.